Thank you for joining us for this edition of David's Question of the Week, presented by NM Fiber Network. As New Mexico's statewide middle mile backbone, we're committed to keeping you informed about the technologies, opportunities, and challenges shaping connectivity. Here's this week's question.
The middle mile network, like we've been talking about, is crucial for the development of not just economy, but for the development of communities, especially in rural America. The reason why is because it gives them an outsized impact. It allows them to, it's a multiplication of effort. It allows them to use what they've got. In this case, the example I like to use is rural hospitals. Rural hospitals, their funding, the challenges that they have to overcome to provide service to arguably a small segment of rural America. Their cost model is extremely aggressive, so to speak. They've got to do a lot more with very little. And the economies of it can't be denied. Rural America, just getting transport out to rural America, getting the services that they need out there, that's a huge challenge. And the middle mile network that NM Fiber Network provides in New Mexico helps bridge that. It helps bridge that by allowing, in this example, a rural hospital in Tatum, New Mexico, to have access via extremely capable broadband, to have access to specialists that they otherwise would not have access to. Another example I've used in the past is a hospital in Jal, New Mexico. It's the southeasternmost tiny town in New Mexico, in Lee County. They have a hospital out there, got great machines, got great things to be able to help the community in that area, but they weren't able to get that specialist support out there, somebody to move out into Jal, New Mexico, for example, to be able to provide the intelligence, to be able to read these, to be able to diagnose them. And the services that they were using were very broadband intensive, because some of these images, some of the imaging that's produced by this very high level caliber of medical equipment were extremely large. So getting those images out timely to a location somewhere out there on the web, on a cloud service, was their biggest challenge. The middle mile network, a middle mile network like NM Fiber Network, coupled with a last mile like a 𝗕𝗂𝗁, who provides service in that area, was able to bridge that gap for them. So from a medical standpoint, it's a huge help. The same thing happens from an economic standpoint. The economics of a location that now can boast services, medical services and medical support that you would normally just find in larger towns is huge. You can ask any one of the economic development commissions in Lee County that serve rural New Mexico. Those things, they don't just add numbers, they create opportunities for the community. They create opportunities for growth. There's opportunities for growth in regards to being able to sell, the outreach, the impact that you can make with whatever it is that you're trying to sell or the services that you're trying to provide. If these things can be done remotely, there's a higher probability of success simply because your pool, your access to customers has increased exponentially. You're no longer just relying on word of mouth, on the local community to buy local. You're also able to, in a very real sense, pipe in new economic opportunities from anywhere in the world in a small community. So the economic impact of good broadband, of good last mile and exemplary middle mile, much like NM Fiber networks, is you can't oversell that. There's multiple examples of that. Being able to bring in a higher level of entertainment, even higher level of education for the schools. There's schools in our rural areas that are able to pipe in classes from Harvard. Opportunities that a lot of the community would not have had access to were it not for a stable and reliable middle mile and last mile. So those economies of scale that we provide and allow the communities to have access to through services like NM Fiber Network and our member cooperatives, those are invaluable, and they do impact the bottom line. Being able to have access to different grants, research grants and what have you. In rural America, we have some of the best places to experiment with because of our, let's call it, it's a desert, so to speak. A lot of mesquite, a lot of bush. If you're out here, you love it. Some people do like that type of stuff, and a lot of us stay here. But it's a place that allows for very large industry to come in and do business. One of our biggest claims to fame in Lee County is the energyplex. We do a lot of oil, do a lot of gas, do a lot of potash, do a lot of all kinds of things like that. There's a uranium enrichment plant in the Eunice area. There's also a WIPP site, a disposal site, in between Lee County and Eddy County. All these things create opportunity for rural communities, and the middle mile access that's provided through NM Fiber Network allows for the uplift and the opportunity for companies like that to look at our areas, not just in Lee County, Eddy, and Chavez, but to look at all of our member providers' areas with a different lens. You're not looking at that area and thinking, wow, that'd be a great area, except we don't really have a way to interconnect to it, to be able to provide the services or the backup or the redundancy or the communications that we need. Now we're a full package. So it does have an outsized impact to the economies of the areas that we serve.
Connection fuels opportunity. And at NM Fiber Network, we're building the backbone that makes that possible. Thanks for joining us for David's Question of the Week. Until next time, stay connected, stay curious, and for more information, go now to nmfibernetwork.com.